Matthew 24. It's a long study, so we will just uh, study whatever we can within the hour that we have. Okay. In uh, in Gospel Worker, page 148, paragraph 2, this was written in 1915. The 24th chapter of Matthew is presented to me again and again as something that is to be brought to the attention of all. So it has to be given to all. We are today living in a time when prediction of this chapter are fulfilling. So it was written 1915, and it is has been 110 years ago. Okay, another notation from letter 90, 1902, paragraph 5. The 24th chapter of Matthew gives an outline of what is to come upon the world. You are living amidst the peril of the last days. Those who are perishing in sin must be warned. So remember in Matthew 24, there is a verse there that says, and this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached unto all the world for a witness, and then shall the end come. And again in letter 176, 1903, paragraph 15, who can question that we are living in perilous times? When Christ portrayed the destruction of Jerusalem, he looked down the ages and included in his description the still more awful destruction of the world. So when Christ uh, prophesied about the destruction of Jerusalem, he refers also about the destruction of the world. This is written in Spirit of Prophecy, Volume 4, page 26, paragraph 1. The prophecy which he uttered was twofold in its meaning. While foreshadowing the destruction of Jerusalem, it prefigured also the terrors of the last great day. So it's twofold in its meaning. So destruction of Jerusalem has already gone. Now we're facing the destruction of the world. Spirit of Prophecy, Volume 4, again, page 39, paragraph 1. When Jesus revealed to his disciples the fate of Jerusalem, the sins of the second advent, he foretold also the experience of his people from the time when he should be taken of them to his return in power and glory for their deliverance. So he will also prophesy about his crucifixion and about his second coming, his second return. So let's start with Matthew 24, verse 1. And Jesus went out, depart from the temple, and his disciples came to him for to show him the building of the temple. So when he departed, the disciples were with him, and not all of them were with him, but some of them. I think there are only three of them at the time. In the book of Mark, it is recorded in Mark 13, verse 3. And as he went out of the temple, one of his disciples said unto him, Master, see what manner of stone and what building are here. Again, in Luke 21, verse 5, and as he spake the temple, how it was adorned with goodly stones and gifts, he said. Okay? So, a great controversy, page 20, paragraph 1, 2 days before the Passover. So, the thing that we just read in Matthew 24, Luke, and Mark were just the thing that happened there was 2 days before the Passover or before he was crucified. When Christ had for the last time departed from the temple, after denouncing the hypocrisy of the Jewish rulers, he again went out to his disciples in Mount of Olives and seated himself with them upon the grassy slope overlooking the city. Once more he gazed upon its walls, its towers, its palaces. Once more he beheld the temple in its dazzling splendor, a diadem of beauty crowning the sacred mount. And in Desire of Ages, page 627, paragraph 1, Christ's word to the priests and rulers, behold, your house is left unto you desolate, Matthew 23:38, had struck terror to their hearts. They affected indifference, but the question kept rising upon their minds as to the import of these words. An unseen danger seems to threaten them. Would it be the magnificent temple which the name's glory was soon to be a heap of ruins? Foreboding of evil was shared by the disciples, and they anxiously await for some definite statement from Jesus. As they passed with him out of the temple, they called his attention to the strength and beauty. The stones of the temple were of purest marble, of perfect whiteness, and some of them of almost fabulous size. A portion of the wall had withstood the siege of Nebuchadnezzar's army. So here it was very, very old because some of them were what? Were the stones quarried
Mhm.
by King Solomon. In its perfect masonry, it appeared like a solid stone dug entire from the quarry. How those mighty walls could be thrown down, the disciples could not comprehend. So we do not know how big are the stones there, but it's probably huge. But the prophecy has to be fulfilled. Okay, again in Great Controversy, page 393, paragraph 2, the parable of the 10 virgins, Matthew 25, also illustrates the experience of the Adventist people. So this is now directly referring to the Adventist, the parable of the 10 virgins. Matthew 24, in answer to the question to his disciples concerning the sign of his coming in the end of the world, Christ had pointed out some of the most important events in the history of the world and of the church from his first to the second advent, namely the destruction of Jerusalem, the Great Tribulation. Okay, the Great Tribulation, it covers also the period of the Dark Ages and the final what time of trouble of the church under pagan and papal persecution, the darkening the sun, the moon, and the falling the star. After this, he spoke of his coming in his kingdom, and related the parable describing two classes of servants who are looking for his appearing. So there are two. There will be no more in between like the Laodiceans, only two. Okay, the good or the bad. Matthew 24, verse 2. And Jesus said unto them, see ye not all these things? Verily I say unto you, there shall not be left here one stone upon another that shall not be thrown down. So the prophecy is that all those big marble quarried stones, huge, should be thrown down. And First Kings 9, verse 7, then I will cut off Israel out of the land which I have given them. And this house which I have hallowed in my name, I will cast out of my sight. And Israel shall be a proverb and byword among all people. So the prophecy of Jesus Christ was also prophesied in the First Kings. Okay, Jeremiah 5, verse 10. Go ye up upon her walls and destroy, and make that a full end. Take away her battlement, for they are not the Lord's. So here, the Lord has already forsaken Israel, Jerusalem, and it's no longer his. So what? Go ye up upon the walls and destroy it. God? Who is God telling? It was the angels, just like the walls of Jericho, that it was actually the angels who put it down. Jeremiah 26:18, Micah the Morsite. So here is Jeremiah. Jeremiah was quoting from the book of Micah. prophesied in the days of Hezekiah, king of Judah, and spake to all the people of Judah, saying, Thus saith the Lord of hosts, Zion shall be plowed like a field, and Jerusalem shall become heaps, and the mountains of the house as the high places of forest. So here is Jeremiah quoting from Micah. And where can we find this in the book of Micah? In Micah 3:12, Therefore shall Zion for your sake shall be plowed as a field, and Jerusalem become heaps, and the mountains of the house as the high places of forest. Okay, Luke 19, verse 44, and shall lay thee even with the ground, and thy children within thee, and they shall not live in thee one stone upon another, because thou knowest not the time of thy visitation. So they do not know when it will coming because they're not watching for the signs. The same thing in these last days. Matthew 24 talks about people during the time of Noah, people during the time of Lot. They were eating, drinking, marrying, and giving in marriage. Desire of Ages, page 627, paragraph 2. The view before him was indeed beautiful, but he said with sadness, See it all. I see it all. The buildings are indeed wonderful. You point to these walls as apparent indestructible. But listen to my words. The day will come when there shall not be left one stone upon another that shall not be thrown down. So there is nothing that is impossible with God. Once God said it, it has to be fulfilled. It has to happen. In manuscript 9, 1896, paragraph 6, Christ's prediction regarding the destruction of Jerusalem of the temple was a lesson on the purification of religion by making of that effect forms and ceremonies. So here, forms and ceremonies, purification. We need purification in these last days. God requires us perfection of character. And thoughts from the Mounts of Blessing, page 120, paragraph 1. There were to see Jerusalem a desolation, the temple swept away, its worship forever ended, Israel scattered in lands, like wrecks on a desert shore. Manuscript 35, 1906, paragraph 14. Men will continue to erect. Now, this is today. Buildings costing millions of money. Special attention will be called to their architectural beauty and firmness and solidity with which they are constructed. You could see those buildings that they're constructing in Middle East, in Qatar, in other places there in the Middle East. They're beautiful new building. They're trying to compete with other buildings around the world. But the Lord has instructed me that despite its unusual firmness and expensive display, these buildings will share the fate of the Temple of Jerusalem. That the magnificent structure fell. Who did the destruction of the walls? Angels of God, just like the walls of Jericho, were sent to do the work of destruction, so that not one stone was left upon another that shall be thrown down. By human effort alone, the stone will not be able to be thrown down. But angels, they're powerful. They could do anything. They throw it down. Matthew 24, verse 3. And as he sat upon Mount of Olives, the disciples came to him privately, saying, Tell us, and what shall these things be? And what shall be the sign of thy coming and of the end of the world? Okay, in the book of Mark, it is this is how it was recorded. And as he sat upon Mount of Olives over against the temple, Peter, James, and John. So there were only three disciples that were with him. Oh, and Andrew, four of them. Ask him privately, Tell us, and when shall these things be, and what shall be the sign when all these things shall be fulfilled? So there were four of them, not all the disciples were with him when he left. Okay? In First Thessalonians 5, verse 1.